Hey guys, Night Cruiser MA over here at Mom South in Foxborough doing my thing, and this bike is a 2013 Harley Davidson Road King CVO. And you know, I thought to myself that maybe you guys might want to see the process, because sometimes you ask me, how do you pick what bike you're going to review? The reality is that sometimes one just kind of speaks to me.
Hey.
What?
I saw you looking at me.
I wasn't actually looking, I was just glancing.
Review me.
What?
You heard me. Review me.
I can't review you. Everybody knows I like Indians.
Well, everyone knows I love Indians. Get over yourself. No one cares. Your stomach is bigger than your YouTube channel.
Oh, you want to get personal? You want to talk about your 2-inch rear suspension?
Shut up.
What are you, 2?
No, I'm 4. Look, you were checking me out. You think I'm pretty.
A little.
He thinks I'm pretty. He wants to ride me.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Cool beans. Hey, change that shirt.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And that's how we got here. So,
Shirt.
Be right back. Better?
Better.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, this is a 2013 Road King CVO. And you know, it's true, I'm not really a Harley guy. I don't dislike Harleys, I just don't gravitate to them like everybody else seems to. But this thing really caught my eye. I thought it was just beautiful. It's got 33,000 miles on it, and it looks new. It's incredible. I really, you know, kind of like on the Triumph Rocket 3 video. That bike had mileage on it, but it was really beautiful. Now, here's the thing, guys. I've been trying to think about, should I really sit here and give you guys all of the specs? You know, do you really want to know the torque, 113 foot-pounds? Do you really want to know the horsepower? Do you really want to know all these things about the bike? Probably not, because that's what the internet is for. You can go look it up. What you're here for, I hope, besides my sparkling personality, is the test ride. So I thought, you know what? Let's just try it. Let's go for the test ride. Let's just go see what happens. Let's do it. Come on. You too. All right, guys. This is a little bit different than some other videos because I'm going to be taking this right out of the warehouse and onto the street. Put a dealer plate on there, and away we go. Kind of exciting, actually. They just put a price on this today, which is $18,900. Given that I think this is around 30,000 new, it's not bad, but keep in mind, this bike, oops, gotta familiarize myself with the Harley procedure. This bike does have 33,000 miles on it, so, but still, I mean, it is a special edition. It's got the special kind of metallic gray black paint here, so just gonna let it warm up for a sec. All right. All right. I gotta figure out where the throttle mapping is on this thing. So, yeah, see, you get a lot of throttle right off the line here. Makes you sound kind of like an idiot because you give it a little bit of a twist, if you can see that, and you're getting a ton of throttle. So, and the clutch engagement is kind of out there a little bit, so you got to be a little bit aware of that as you're kind of riding, that this is a very sensitive throttle. All right, let's get this thing underway, shall we? So right now what I'm hearing, the sound, at least while you're riding, oh yeah, that clutch engagement it's in the last, like, I don't know, maybe half an inch is where you actually engage. All right, I got to figure out the whole Harley Davidson directional thing. Does it tell me if my directionals are on? Oh yeah, it does. Okay, good. I'm going to open this up just a little bit, reduce some buffeting. I'm always excited. I mean, when I take a bike I've never taken before, it is really exciting. Obviously, as you can see by my hand, this thing does shake. This is a 2013. So this is obviously not a Milwaukee 8. This is before Harley decided that they wanted to maybe take a smoother approach to things. Oh, wow, that clutch just throws me off because it's just so different. Oh yeah, see, I do feel like a weird little vibration in the handlebars here. Now, again, I don't mean vibration like the engine, I mean over bumps. There's like almost like a little bit of a disconnect or something, like there's a looseness somewhere, and I'm not sure exactly where that is. I can kind of feel it in the hand grip. Yeah, it's an odd feeling, but it's really not that bad. So wind-wise, I'm not getting any helmet buffeting. What's nice is I am getting a good bit of wind, but it's really not enough wind to make my helmet kind of bobble back and forth. Of course, I'm only doing about 45. Let's see how we do with power here. Do I have a gear indicator? Yeah, I'm in third. Okay. It's a tiny, tiny, tiny little gear indicator right there. It's like the smallest number you've ever seen in your life. So let me hop over here. Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, that's got some get up and go to it. Huh. I do think this bike could sound better. I'm not sure. I mean, maybe I'm just not hearing it correctly from the driver's seat, but I expected a little bit more of a Harley rumble to it. Yeah, okay, I'm hearing it now. Say, I am pretty darn impressed. So far, I am impressed. I don't like the left floorboard right now. This has a heel shifter, and much like the Indian stock heel shifter, it takes away a good portion or a good part of the floorboard. So I would get an aftermarket heel shifter to give myself more room. Oh, let's test out the brakes, shall we? No, brakes are fine. They work actually very well. Okay. Hand grips are kind of interesting. They've got this little detent to them, so... Huh. Yeah, once I get used to the clutch, I think I'm going to be fine. This is, you know, when you ride Indians, you're used to a very, very close initial bite on the clutch there. I mean, as soon as you let it out, you're moving. This is a good 1.5 to 2 inches out before it bites. But once you know it, it's not a problem. Well, so I thought. It has a longer clutch travel than I thought. Huh. It's just so interesting when you first get used to a bike. This does have, it's not quite as bad as previous Harleys I've sat on, but it does still have a little bit of that feeling like you're on the bike instead of in the bike. Maybe it's not bad. If you don't mind it, that's great. And I'm realizing I already kind of missed the way I wanted to go because I'm so used to doing these reviews a different way that I wanted to go a slightly different way, but that's okay. I can do it after. You know, I'm pleasantly surprised right now. I really am. I thought this would be incredibly down on power. But it is the CVO, it's 110 cubic inches. It does have, I think, 114 foot-pounds of torque. So it's really no slouch compared to the Indian. It's not up there numbers-wise, but it's really not bad. And you can feel it. I mean, I think it's very acceptable power-wise. But yeah, the Harley shake is a little hard to get used to if you're just not accustomed to it. I will also say that the seat is quite a bit wider than, say, like on a Springfield. Oh, that's very nice. That's very nice. Thank you for doing that, because that's just awesome. I'm not sure that these blinkers are self-canceling. Didn't get a chance to look there because I was so unamused by her driving tactics. I'll check that out shortly. The turn-in there was actually really nice. Now, again, these sort of buckhorn-style handlebars, they're a little bit of a mixed bag, because what you get is, regardless of the rake, even if it's a nice steep rake, you're still going to put a little bit more effort into the steering, because the handlebars are narrower. Let's see if this cancels. Is it self-canceling? It is. Okay, way to go. Good job. Always an interesting thing. I'm going to go over these railroad tracks, see how they do. Okay, interesting. So this bike is full of surprises to me. I looked at the seat, and the seat looks like it's wide, flat, and pretty much hard and horrible. And it actually isn't. The seat is what saves you, because the suspension, Harleys, particularly of this era, did not have rear suspension travel to speak of. This is air adjustable in the back, but I'm actually really surprised to tell you guys that what saves you here is the seat. It's very, very soft, very pliable, very cushy. Something I did not expect on a CVO. I don't know why, I just didn't expect it. Ah, that's very impressive. I mean, there's a little bit of, like I said, some dynamics here with the throttle and the clutch. Not to belabor the point, but it does take away from that initial sort of ride where you're saying, you're trying to figure it out and figure out where exactly the friction zone is. I'm going to get used to that extremely quickly, I can tell. Mirrors on this bike, I believe, are the stock mirrors with the CVO. If I'm wrong, just let me know in the comments below. Let me know anything in the comments below if I'm completely off base with anything. Or if you enjoyed it or whatever, just let me know. So let's see, I'm in third gear, says a tiny little number, so I'm going to keep that around this little sweeping left. See how we do. Oh yeah, it's very nice handling. Very nice handling. This is as I was saying before, kind of a direct competitor in my mind to the Springfield. Of course, the Springfield wasn't out when the 2013 Road King CVO was made, but this bike is essentially the competitor to the Springfield. However, this CVO version does have the hard lowers. So it's really an interesting dynamic here. You've got the hard lowers with a kind of smallish windshield, which I thought would look terrible and feel terrible, but actually I'm finding it to be pretty nice. I'm assuming, yeah, okay, so there's an opening down there in the lowers, so you get a little bit of wind. It's not completely blocking it, which is good, because the engine needs to have wind. But what I'm getting is plenty of air on my arms, which I really enjoy, especially on a nice night like this. I mean, it's probably around, I don't know, it's probably around 70 or 72 or something out. Yeah, that was no big deal. That was pretty impressive. I am really impressed with this. I didn't think I would like it. I hate to say it. I hate to say that I'm not approaching these reviews objectively, but I really thought, it's a Harley, it's not a Milwaukee 8, it's going to be terrible and all that stuff. It really isn't. Let me take this is a little bit bigger. No, again, it's the seat that saves you. I can feel the frame, the rigidity underneath there taking that bump, but the seat saves you. And again, I'm a fat guy. I can flatten most cushions right out to the point where there's no cushion left. So I'm surprised in a way. Now, if I compare this to an Indian Springfield, here's what I would say, because I've ridden the Springfield quite a bit. I really like Springfield. I really do. I think the throttle mapping on the Springfield is a lot more comfortable. This is a lot more kind of edgy. You get a lot more bite right away. It's not as linear. It's not the end of the world. It's just something you have to get used to. And once you get used to it, you'll struggle to ride other bikes because of that. So, that's kind of one little issue there. I wonder if this guy's going to let me go. Will he? Yes, he will. Say thank you. Yeah, and actually, that it's funny. The clutch. I don't mean to keep talking about the clutch, but it is weird. It's like it's just. I don't know if it's me or what, but it is a little bit weird. It's not bad. It's just that there's a. Forget it. I can't even. I should be able to actually give a, use my words, but there's a play in the throttle that gives you this sort of jerkiness. If I really kind of play it up a little bit, just a little bit of on and off, and it's like all or nothing. Kind of bizarre. So I would probably, the throttle control I've got to give to the Springfield, because that's just, oh, and you know what I just noticed? Here's what I'm kind of noticing. I love these contoured hand grips that Harley has. I don't know if you've seen them, but I've seen them on other Harleys too. My friend Alan actually had one with these grips. They feel great, but they're not exactly circular. They're kind of oval. And what I'm finding is that when I reach, because Harley has this kind of odd setup with the blinkers here, when I reach for the blinker, if my hand moves at all, even if I have a very loose grip on the throttle, it tends to jostle the bike. It tends to upset the bike a little bit. All these things are minor. You're going to get used to them. I'm going to stop complaining about that, and I'm going to tell you about the rest of the bike here. All right. Kind of an interesting thing. So let's talk about the Harley shake. And as most people will tell you, it basically goes away once you're riding. That's true. You do get some resonant frequencies where you can feel it in the floorboards even at speed. The hand grips are nice. Right now it's fine. Let me get up to 4th here. You've got a little tiny tachometer here, but again, it's fine. I'd rather have this than the digital tack that I've seen on, for example, some Victories. And speaking of Victory, one thing I really don't like about Victories is the chugging of the motor. I think almost everybody will tell you that the people that love Victory, the way they handle, the way they ride, all that stuff, the one thing that you really notice is the lack of torque. Because anytime you take off, you just get this chugging, and it's just and it can be kind of annoying. And this bike, although it has plenty of torque, it's got, I think, 114 foot-pounds of torque, you kind of miss it because the shaking is there, and it almost feels like it's like a chugging in a way. All right. Overall, though, this bike really does surprise me. I'm really enjoying it. I find that the windshield is the perfect height for me. I like my windshields small and low. I do like windshields. You have to have a windshield, I think, on a bike. It's just my personal preference. But I find it to be small and low and unobtrusive and out of the way. It gives me a perfect amount of air, and this is certainly adjustable, although I think if I close that, I will get some helmet buffeting. I'm going to try that when I get back out onto Route 1 here. And then I'm going to take the second leg of my review journey. Okay, so now this bike does have actually a stereo system. I'm not going to test it because, again, you do run into copyright issues with YouTube and things like that. I feel like this bike, oh great, a black cat just crossed my path. If I were superstitious, that might bug me, but I'm not superstitious. I might be by the end of the video, though, if something happens. I feel like, see, it's that on-off thing. It's like when you let off the throttle, the bike has this thud as it idles down. And, I wonder, I could just go that way. No, I'm going to go the way I would typically go here. Let's not mess things up. Let's get onto Route 1 here. Do a little bit of highway, you know, get more up to speed and see how this does. I am going to leave the vent open. I want to find out how the helmet buffeting is. Again, this is kind of a unique setup. You know, you've got the lowers, and you've got this little tiny windshield here, and it's really cool. I say little tiny. It looks really good on this bike. It's a nice tinted windshield. All right, let's see here. So I'm going to hit the gas here. Again, 33,000 miles. This bike has been more than broken in, so I don't mind giving it a little bit of a run here just to see what it's got. I don't think Mom South would mind. I think that's what this bike was basically built for, as long as I'm careful and ride quickly but responsibly, I think is the term that I'm looking for here. Okay, let's see what we can do here. I'm gonna have to let these cars go. Up very nicely. I got up to 80 very, very quickly. That's fantastic. Yeah, I like that. I'm in 6th gear right now. I'm doing about 77 miles an hour. And this bike is really fine. That was actually very quick. Very nice. I would say that would definitely... I mean... Yeah, I think that might beat a Springfield. I think it's just got a little bit more horsepower in there. That felt awfully good. Obviously in 6th gear, if I can look at the tiny number here, in 6th, it's not going to give me a lot of pull, but it's really not bad. Still at 70, I'm not getting any helmet buffeting. I'm getting lots of air on my arms, which again, if you like that, that's great. I love it. That's very nice. I think this is a very nice highway cruiser. I might go, maybe, if you were going to use it as a really long distance cruiser, you might want to go with a passenger, like a driver's backrest or something. This seat does not give you much back support. It's basically like a bench that you're sitting on, but it's a comfy bench, so that's fine. Handlebar position to me is really good. You know me, I like these handlebars that kind of sweep back towards you. You know, the road undulations do come through a bit, but they are dampened by the seat. Oh, I don't like the heel shifter. I just tried to use the heel shifter, I think, for the first time. And again, just like the Indian stock shifter, you've got to lift your leg way up high to get to it. Don't like it. Easy fix, though. Easy fix. I mean, I love the look of this bike. It does sound good. But under 2,000 RPM, it does shake. And I don't know if that enhances the experience or not. You know what I mean? Forget what I just did there. I was literally just thinking, do I want to use the heel shifter or not? And I went back and forth, and I realized, well, at some point, I do actually have to shift. You know, it's a really nice view that you get here. You got the 2 driving lights, and you've got the headlight with the little nacelle in it, and it's just a really nice view. I'm very impressed with this bike. I think the drivetrain could be smoother, but the braking is fantastic. It's got this little recessed gas gauge here. Just missed my turn. Let me try this one. This one will work too. Yeah, boy, there's really nothing to complain about in the handling department here. I really thought that I would. I thought I'd be like, yeah, it's a Harley, there's no lean angle, there's no nothing. I'm really not complaining. So let's take this through some corners here, see how we do. The floorboards do sit up nice and high. The seat height is higher than an Indian Springfield. If you're a short person, you're going to want either a Springfield or a Chieftain or a Roadmaster, something like that, which has, I think, around a 26.5-inch seat height. I think this is closer to 27.8, something like that. But, you know, it depends on your experience riding. I've been riding for a while now, and not being able to flat-foot a bike doesn't really freak me out unless I have to back it up, uphill or something. But this is, when you're on the throttle fairly steadily and you don't get the sort of jerkiness back and forth. Ooh, yeah, that bottomed out. Or I should say I bottomed out anyway. A normal rider might not, but somebody of my weight perhaps did. But it wasn't bad, again, because the seat cushion's there and it does kind of, well, literally save your butt. I'll bet you I was saying something before I got interrupted by that pothole. What was it? I don't know. Darn it, I hate that. But yes, I was talking, I think, about the floorboards too, and the seat height. So the floorboards sit higher than you would expect. What am I in, third? Yeah, that's fine. We'll go through here in third. It's just a really nice bike. I'm not going to say it's like as a relaxing, like a Cadillac ride like you get with an Indian, but I do think that it's a really nice combination of, say, like, the sportiness of a ride that you might want, but there really isn't a lot of harshness here, which surprises me, and the handling is extremely adept. I really do like it. I really do. I like the gas gauge here. This little kind of fake fuel filler cap here is kind of gives you a little bit of a gas. I forgot where I was there on the road. It gives you a little indicator of your gas level. Very nice. Yeah, I like it. I can see the appeal to this bike all day long. I can see the appeal to this bike. Once I got used to the powertrain being the way it is, I think I could definitely get used to that. Now the question is, would I take this over an Indian Springfield, for example? That's a tough call. I don't like the way the blinkers are set up here. The way it interferes with your throttle hand, basically to have to reach and hit the blinker. That's not what's going to stop me from buying a bike, obviously. It's a tough call because I think that they're meant a little bit for different purposes. This is a CVO. What gear am I in? Who cares? It's like, who cares? I'll just hit the gas and things will happen. That's good. But, being a CVO, it has a different purpose than the laid-back, kind of relaxed atmosphere of the Springfield. And I bring the Springfield up even though this does have lowers and that doesn't, but they are essentially competing for the same crowd. The regular Road King, at least, that is, in Springfield. The CVO here is meant to have a little bit more attitude, a little bit more edge, and certainly, more power, which it does have. I thought I'd be very disappointed. I'm really not. This is an air-cooled 110 cubic inch engine. I am getting quite a bit of heat on my legs, but it's really no more than an Indian does. That extra, inch that the Indian has doesn't really give you a lot. It is definitely not quite as smooth over the bumps. The suspension is a little bit less refined. But again, this is a sporting kind of bike. Let's do a little wide sweeping corner here. Wasn't enough of a corner to really let me hit this one a little bit more. I need a different corner. I want to test this out just a little bit. I checked out the tires just before I started filming, and they looked pretty good, so I'd like to find oh, here we go. I think this is the one I'm thinking of, is it? I think I'm wrong. But, overall, yes, I am very impressed. I am really impressed with this bike. I do wish the seat was sculpted a little bit differently for my back, but overall it is not bad at all, because it's if you take out the back support, the actual support you get, for your butt is fine. It's actually cushy, it's soft, it's I really didn't expect it from a CVO, or really even from a Harley. I just didn't think here's a little corner I can take here. Let's see what this does. Yeah, very much drama free. Very much. In fact, that tracked exceptionally well through that corner. This makes me really want to try out the 2018 Harleys, because, let me tell you one quick thing here. You guys know I do love Indians, but the reality is that if I just bought Indians because they're Indians, then I'm really no better than those people that just buy Harleys because they're Harleys. I want to test other brands. I want to see what's out there. I want to get what I like. A friend of mine is he does this thing where he's like, well, the Street Glide, and the Road King, those are built for women. They're meant for women. They're women's bikes. Really? Okay, well, I don't think so. And plus, even if they were, I don't care. I think this is fantastic. I just think it's great. I think it's a fun bike. I mean, yes, I get vibration in the floorboards, a lot of vibration. Not the end of the world. The brakes are great. I like the brakes. They don't modulate exceptionally well. They're fairly abrupt, but they're really not bad. They're very easy to get used to. The riding position for me at my height and everything, I'm like 5'8"-ish, is really fine. My arms are out a bit, which is comfortable to me. It's not really a problem. I'm really enjoying this. I mean, this is a very relaxing ride. Especially at speed, because you don't get as much of the sort of bucking back and forth. Just going through, I mean, the handling is again, I go back to that, it's really, really wonderful. Is it better than, say, a Springfield or a Chieftain? I can't say either way. I don't think I could say this is better. I don't think I could say it's worse. I think you might be hard-pressed to notice a lot of differences in the handling between the two bikes, because they both handle extremely well. I don't know the rake on this, but I'm going to assume it's probably around 29 degrees, because it does feel fairly steep. It doesn't feel like it's floppy. It doesn't really seem to have any issues. Unfortunately, I'm beginning down the stretch here where I'm going to be concluding the test ride, and although that might be nice for you guys, because I'm sure I'm approaching, I don't know, half an hour of riding or something. See how I'm still not used to the clutch? Isn't that weird? I ride too many bikes to really get used to any particular clutch. You can tell the fall colors have already kind of hit us. We're in early September, and I think that's disgusting. I just think that we should hold on to summer as long as we can, and the fall colors truly should not hit us until, at least October. And if it were up to me, we'd go to the end of October, we'd see all the foliage change, it would get dark, and we'd be like, okay, well that was pretty, now it sucks, and then boom, it'd be like May 1st, it would just be right there. And you could enjoy spring all over again. I have no use for winter. And I had no use for winter before I ever rode motorcycles. I really, really like this motorcycle. I really do. Don't like the heel shifter, don't like the shaking, don't like the throttle response, don't really like the clutch. Love the motorcycle. It's fantastic. It doesn't have the stuff that people stereotype Harley with, which is that sort of, I don't know. I mean, it did have a little bit of a looseness to it as I was riding around the parking lot, and I can still feel it over bumps. There's like a little disconnect somewhere. It's almost like there's a bolt somewhere that should be attached that isn't. But that could simply be just a design thing. I mean, maybe it's meant to feel that way. I'm just not used to it from my bikes. It's not really throwing me off. It's a little disconcerting, perhaps, if you hit some of those little imperfections in the road with the front wheel. You feel a transfer, and it doesn't exactly inspire confidence, but over just regular little bumps here and there, it's fine. It's really fine. Now again, the 2013s had the old saddlebag system, which I have no problems in telling you was stupid. The whole thing where you had to get off the bike and open up the outside flap and then kind of hinge it backwards and up and over and around and through, and it was like a romper room song just to get the freaking saddlebag open. Whereas this, whereas the newer ones, I know they've got just a little lever that you just pull, and they open right up, which is much better. And Indian has the push button on the top of the saddlebags, which again, much better. So I just don't see the reason why I should have to get off of a bike to open a saddlebag. If you're wondering why that's applicable, it's because I literally do go through Dunkin' Donuts drive-thrus on my bike, and I really do want to be able to get my saddlebag open while I'm on the bike. Yes, it's a unique set of circumstances. I agree with that. But again, you do sit higher on this. There's no question, you sit higher. didn't sound labored. It didn't sound bad at all. Gosh, I'm very impressed. I don't know what else to say. It's not harsh. It's just outside of a little shaking in the handlebars as you go over these bumps. It's really not bad. If you're wondering why I belabor some of these points, it's because right now I don't have a lot to complain about. It's just those issues. It's the drivetrain. It's the little weird kind of feeling in the handlebars as you go over these bumps, a little kind of looseness or something, and a little bit of shaking on the floorboards. But there really isn't anything else that you could just point to and go, "Oh, that sucks." This is a really well done, well made bike, and I just didn't think I'd like it as much as I do. So my hat's off to Harley Davidson. I think you guys did a great job with this. And again, this is like 4 years ago, guys. I mean, the 2018s are out. I can't imagine what they've done. Now, just to be clear, would I choose this over an Indian? I don't think I would. At least not this model year. I just don't think they're up, at this point, they weren't up to the refinement that Indian had. Hey, am I back on time? That'd be cool. Yes, I am. Go me. But again, for what this is meant for, it's not meant for a Cadillac ride, although it really comes pretty close. I am very, very impressed. So I just want to thank Mom South for letting me take this out. There's my Night Cruiser MA Mobile right there. Very impressed. Don't know what gear I'm in. Okay. Yeah, it is a little jerky. It's a little bit jerky through here, but it isn't really bad. It's the slower speeds, things like that. It does get a little bit jerky. But overall, guys, I am impressed. Nice job. Nice job, Harley. Yeah, so see, this is what I mean about the saddlebags. You gotta open this. Oh, I shouldn't really do that because of the alarm. Oh, no, it should be okay. Open this and like mess with the thing here. Yeah, not really my thing. That's just clunky. But everything else, though, again, this seat, I thought that would be more uncomfortable than it is, but it's fine. Well, again, thank you to Mom South. Appreciate it. It was a good ride. Good ride on a beautiful bike.